Honesty is telling myself the truth. But integrity is telling the truth to others.
And we are recording. Okay, so this will be the second or third in our COVID-19 isolation series, and I got a haircut yesterday from Melissa's sister. Now it's on top of my eye. So, Yuri over in Indonesia asked a question regarding what are my favorite takedowns. Modified judo, Greco, and wrestling for cloth Jiu Jitsu. So, the first thing I want to do is pull me, jerk me around. I'm very easily knocked over, which causes predictive steps. Pulls me, she can predict where my feet will have to step. What was I saying? Okay. So my feet I want to have independent of what happens on my upper body. So my feet I want nice and completely independent, no matter how much I'm being jerked around up here.
Remember, this unit has but one job, to start the reaction.
Top, the mid game with hips, and the foot game with the low game. And my hips and locking a guard onto the mat. I grab a base as I talk, and I feel like I am a tree in a hurricane. My roots are stable, but my flexible branches can move. Foot to step, side shuffle in. Worse than COVID-19. But ultimately still, my favorite way to bring them down used to be the double leg. And as I've aged, that knee bend became hard. Instead of making either the lightning bolt shot, where I shoot as fast as I can, or the skateboard ramp shot, where I imagine I'm going down a skateboard ramp, almost as if I'm up here holding my skateboard and I'm dropping in and shooting. Or my sniper shot, where I'm up on the rooftop, there's the target, that heel, and boom, like I take my shot. Which are all great, except the micro adjustment, where even if her eyes are closed, she can feel when that happens and react. And that reaction, stopping me through the cloth, is very stoppagey. No-gi, you can slip through that. So I'm here, I just release, and I fall. Instead of this, where I duck and shoot or do this, she can't feel it through the connection. So I'm over here, I'm maneuvering around, and I fall. I fall.
That's what he said.
I fall.
I fall. I don't want him falling on me.
I'll go slow-mo. All I'm doing is not like releasing my grip and making a shot or trying to pedal off her grip and shoot. I'm just, often I'll push when I feel a slight resistance to the push. I release and I fall. Rose.
What's judo warm-ups?
Like I would do all my big Uchimata warm-ups and big Uchimata warm-ups and my shot warm-ups and all these things and big hip throw warm-ups, big hip throw warm-ups, big hip throw warm-ups, big hip throw warm-ups. And then
That's what he
when
said.
we would lock up, big hip throw warm-ups. I would bluff those, big hip throw warm-ups, feel the thing, and then fall.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
Now, because you guys are utterly bored with me chattering, we're going to switch gears and go into De La Hiva guard.
Wait, can I show my takedown first?
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to show my favorite takedown because Chris showed me this takedown probably when I was like a white or a blue belt, or when I was going into my first competition and I was worried about people knowing judo, and he said that this
Or
was
wrestling.
yeah, but mostly like back then it was mostly like thinking about judo. I'm afraid a judo person's gonna throw me, right? Like that was always the fear, I think. But he said that this was all the judo I needed to know. That's what he said. That's what he said. So like if somebody goes and does a hip throw, I could just come here, sit down, and end up in the mount and have the arm at the same time. So I don't know what the technical name for that is either. I just call it the hurdle step.
The back hurdle step.
The back hurdle step. But I think before we even do that, it's important to understand the mechanics. So you have one leg that's going out and one leg that's lowering you down to the mat. The arms aren't important at this point. We'll do different things with the arms. But you're going to lower yourself down to the mat. You feel a stretch in your hamstring there. This leg stays straight. Your butt hits the mat, and then you turn. And that's just the skill that you want to practice. And you can do this by yourself at home. Here's an at-home exercise for you to incorporate into your routine. You stick your leg out, nice straight leg. Lower yourself down by bending the opposite leg. Butt cheek on the straight leg, hits the mat, and turn like you want to take the mount. And you can practice alternating sides. Here, lower, hit the mat, turn. Lower, hit the mat, turn. And then you can speed it up. And until you're proficient at this, you're not going to be so good at that takedown. So you're practicing your hurdles. So another little piece of information, this is like the only takedown that I feel confident in doing against people who are bigger than me, because I don't feel like that danger of them sprawling, their heavy sprawl. I don't feel like they have a lot of control. And also being shorter, a lot of times I can go under their arm to their back. So basically, I want a position like this, where I can get on their back. There's different ways of getting there. Also the arm drag to the back, that's another way to get there. So just depending on what happens. Or they could try to do some kind of a hip throw on me. So we'll just start with a basic, and here, I'm in the position. So I want to be in that position where I'm on their back. Other things that sometimes we do is just come in and do body lock type of movement. You can even get this from here. You just sit down and turn. Here, and that arm. You just sit down and turn. Here, and that arm. You just sit down and turn. And that arm is exposed. You end up in a really good position. So this is absolutely my favorite takedown. So just, and again, you can do this with the gi or without the gi. If we took our gis off, it would be the same thing. I'm not even reliant on the grips whatsoever. Boom, whatsoever. Boom, whatsoever. Boom. Now, some important points about it. I'm not so much tripping him with my leg. I'm not trying to think about getting him to trip. That's not my aim. All I do, and this is the way that I do it, I don't know if this is how Chris does it too, but he taught it to me. All I do is think about getting my entry, getting in this position. I don't want my butt to be out. I gotta have my hips in. I wanna glue my crotch to his thigh, right? Then, all I wanna do is stick my leg out, and I'm not trying to trip him at all. I just sit down. I just sit down. And the last thing I do is I pull my hand out that's behind his back so his weight doesn't land on my hand. Because it just doesn't seem like a smart idea.
Especially on asphalt and rebar.
So we're here in our stand-up exchange, whatever. Boom! I'm in. I sit. Boom! I'm in. I sit. My weight brings him down. And it's all about timing and having multiple different setups. And having multiple different setups for that same takedown. Would you add anything to that? Mansplain anything over that? Let my weight, connection, and gravity bring them down to the mat.
Melissa eloquently explained, don't think of it as a trip. Think of it as you're connecting to their hips and dropping out from under them.
Yeah, I don't trip behind those feet at all. I absolutely, because people always want to make it about them. That And I just let my weight, connection, and gravity bring them down to the mat. And I just let my weight, connection, and gravity bring them down to the mat. And I'd say it's my most confident takedown. My opinion about takedowns is that learning as many of them as you can is always good. But my coach, Chris, told me that even the highest level judo players usually have 1 or 2 money takedowns. And everything is helping them set up those 1 or 2 money takedowns. So this is my...
When I had younger knees, I would make it almost a flying takedown, which I'm going to have Melissa execute on me. Go.
You want me to do this?
Yep.
But fly?
We'll fly into it. Yes! Because, of course, entry and timing are everything on a throw and takedown. Everything. Purple belt at the time before UFC, I would go over to a judo club in Pensacola because I didn't have anyone to roll with. And I was jonesing to get on the ground and do groundwork. And through that, I learned a lot about judo, but it didn't really sink until I was probably a first or second degree black belt, and I trained with the U.S. Olympic team. And one of the things I realized was that a lot of the problems people have on the ground with sweeps, it's a timing problem. It's not where you put your feet, where you move your hip and all that stuff. Even if all that is right, if it's ill-timed, it will not work. And when I began thinking of a Jiu Jitsu grappling sweep as a throw, it suddenly meant, oh, it's all in the timing again. It's all in the timing. So when she's here, if it's ill-timed, go ill-timed. And I'm here, and it's slow or ill-timed, it enables me all kinds of countering. To bypass my counters requires proper timing and seamless flow of the execution. And that requires some amount of risk, which seems less scary when you're on the ground, and like a samurai, you commit. Bushido.
He scares me.
You commit. Bushido.
He scares me.
Okay.
And regarding the timing on that move, I think that when you get to this position, you can kind of take your time if you're controlling the person. But the part where you have to commit and go is here. Boom. You can't like
slowly lower yourself
That's
down.
why I have you practicing this first. Because that's the motion. It's not, okay, we're going to practice this slow. Here we go. That won't work. So make sure you can do that movement before you attempt this takedown.
Yes.
Would be my advice.
And of course later,
Dad, who did this?
oh, somebody slashed Commander Riker.
Yeah.
It was.
And you did this and you did this?
We're gonna have to watch some next gen episodes and see, because I can't remember.
Okay.
Okay.
Or was it those weird guys?
Tribbles?
No, you mean the Kardashians?
Yeah.
Yep, it was probably
Keeping up with the Kardashians?
It was probably the Kardashians, not the Kardashians, although they have a lot of similarities.
Their butts?
Their necks and their thickness of head.
Their butts?
Their elevation to a status of that exceeds their actual talent.
Ooh. Okay. So now we're...
And please become a Patreon. These things take a long time to make.